Let's start our class by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Good morning, everyone. We have completed 2 chapters so far, Chitta and Cetasika, the chapter of consciousness and chapter of mental factors. So today we are going to start chapter number 3, Miscellaneous chapter. In Pali, Pakiṇṇakaparicchedo. We need previous knowledge to learn this chapter. However, I will try to remind previous teachings again, but not in detail. So, in this chapter, we have to learn 6 sections. What are them? There are 6 sections. In Pali, we call Vedana, Hetu, Kicca, Dvara, Arammana, and Vattu. Here we are going to analyze Vedana, analyze of Vedana, that means by way of feeling. We analyze the Chitta Cetasika. We analyze especially consciousness in detail. Also, if someone wants to know, they can analyze with the mental factors. But basically, here we are going to analyze consciousness by way of feeling. Second one, we analyze consciousness by way of roots. That means in Pali, Hetu. The first 2 are not far from us, because first 2 lessons we have learned the classification of feeling and also classification of roots. Here we find the new approach here that calls analysis by function. In Pali, Kicca. It's very important when we are learning Chitta Viti, thought process. Therefore, when you are going to learn thought process, Viti Paricceda, this function, this teaching is very important. Without knowing the function, we cannot go to Chitta Viti, thought process. Also, number 4, analysis by doors. In Pali, Dvara. This is also important when we are learning thought process. The next one, analysis by Arammana, analysis by objects. This is very, very important for your insight practice and throughout the Abhidhamma teaching. Therefore, I would say you have to pay more and more attention to the function and objects. Also, when we are learning Patthana, this section is very important. So without knowing this analysis, we cannot dive into the Abhidhamma. Therefore, this is among these 6 sections, analysis by objects is the most important one. The next section, analysis by bases. Vattu means the basis. It's not far from us, because we have up to now we have learned about the bases. In this section, we are going to learn a little bit detail. Eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, body base, and the heart base. So those are the 6 sections we are going to learn in this chapter. I will repeat again. Analysis of feeling, analysis by feeling, analysis by roots, analysis by function, analysis by doors, analysis by objects, and analysis by bases. These are the 6 sections we are going to learn in this chapter. So let's start our first section. It's very familiar with us, because we have classified consciousness based on feeling. So up to now we have learned 5 types of feeling. In Abhidhamma, there are various classifications. Here we are going to learn 5 types or 3 types. Here 5 types mean in Pali we call Indriya Bheda. That's a classification of the faculties. When you learn about the faculties, you will know more and more about faculties. Just think about there are 2 types of classification with the 5 categories and 3 categories. In Pali we call Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Somanassa Vedana, Domanassa Vedana, Upekha Vedana. Sukha Vedana feeling actually has a characteristic of experiencing desirable touching object. Only the touching object we are called here Sukha Vedana. Later on we will learn about the related cetasikas, related chitta, consciousness. That's a Sukha Sagata Kaya Viññāna. The next one, Dukkha Vedana. Dukkha Vedana has the characteristic of experiencing undesirable touch. That's Dukkha Sagata Kaya Viññāna. Feeling in the Dukkha Sagata Kaya Viññāna. Next one, Somanassa, pleasurable feeling, has the characteristic of experiencing desirable object. We have classified how many Somanassa Vedana. We have learned 62. However, today we are going to review again. Domanassa Vedana has the characteristic of experiencing undesirable object. How many chittas with Domanassa Vedana? There are only 2. Dosamula chitta. Then Upekha Vedana, neutral feeling, has the characteristic of experiencing neutral object. How many? There are 55. We will enumerate how many chittas with regards to the particular feelings. So here you can see 5 types of Vedana, Sukha Vedana. We can find Sukha Vedana in Sukha Sahagata Kaya Viññāna. Next one, Dukkha Vedana. Dukkha Vedana in Dukkha Sahagata Kaya Viññāna. Domanassa Vedana in 2 Dosamula Chittas. This is familiar with us, therefore we can go a little bit fast. Then Somanassa Vedana. Let's try to count down again. We have already done. However, we will try. How many somanassa in Lobamula Chitta? There are 4 somanassa chitta. Somanassa Lobamula Chitta. Then we are going to Ahetuka. How many somanassa in Ahetuka? There are only 2. Somanassa Santirana and Hasituppada. Then how many somanassa in Kamasobhana? Somanassa, Kamasobhana. 4 in Kusala, 4 in Vipaka, 4 in Kiriya. Altogether 12. Then how many somanassa, or we call Sukhasagata, in Rupavachara? First jhana with Sukha Vedana, second jhana with Sukha Vedana, third jhana with Sukha Vedana, fourth jhana with Sukha Vedana. Kusala 1, Vipaka 1, Kiriya. Multiply by 3, 4, altogether 12 Rupavachara Chittas. Lokuttara, how many? 32. Because we classify Lokuttara Chittas into the in detail method, in long method. First jhana, Sotapatti Magga, Sakadagami Magga, Anagami Magga, Arahatta Magga. Sotapatti Phala, Sakadagami Phala, Anagami Phala, Arahatta Phala. Similarly, second jhana 8, third jhana 8, fourth jhana 8, altogether 32. Total number we can get 4 plus 2 plus 12, 12 and 32. Altogether we get 62 chittas with Somanassa Vedana. Then how many with Upekha Vedana? Let's count. Just when you look at the slide, yes, you can also count down. They are all together 55. Just pay attention to count down. Okay, let's do it. How many Upekha in Akusala? There are 4 in Lobamula. Upekha Sagata 4 in Lobamula. Then 2 Mohamula Chittasa with Upekha Vedana. Therefore, there are 6 Upekha Sagata Chitta in Akusala. Upekha Lobamula and 2 Mohamula. Then Ahetuka, how many? Please try to find out one by one, not to exclude. We are going to exclude, sometimes we miss. Therefore, try to count one by one. 2 Chakku Viññāna Upekha, 2 Sota Viññāna, then 2 Gahana Viññāna, 2 Jivha Viññāna, 2 Sampatichana Chittas, and 2 Upekha Sahagata Santirana, because there are 3 Santirana. One is Somanassa, 2 Upekha. So 2 Upekha Santirana Chittas and Panchadvara Vajjana 1, then Manodvara Vajjana 1. Here we can get 14 Ahetuka Chittas with that associate Upekha Vedana. The next group, Kama Vichara Sobhana. Kama Sobhana, with Upekha Vedana, 4 Kusala, 4 Vipaka, 4 Kiriya. Altogether 12. Then Rupavachara Chitta, fifth jhana, Kusalavan, Vipakavan, Kiryavan. 3 Rupavachara Chittas. Arupavachara Chittas also included in fifth jhana. How many altogether Arupavachara? 12. Also Lokuttara with regards to fifth jhana. 8. Sotapatti Magga, Sotapatti Phala, Sakadagami Magga, Sakadagami Phala, Anagami Magga, Anagami Phala, Arahatta Magga, Arahatta Phala with regards to fifth jhana. Altogether, Akusala 6, Ahetuka 14, Kamasobhana 12, Rupavachara 3, Arupavachara 12, Lokuttara 8. Altogether, there are 55 chittas that associates that with Upekka Vedana neutral feeling. This is not a new thing for you because we have already learned. Today, what we are going to learn is the function is a new approach or new lesson for us other than Vedana. Let's move into the next one. So we have already told that there are 3 types of Vedana also, Sukha, Dukkha and Upekha. In this classification, we add 62 Somanassa Vedana and 1 Sukha Sagata Kaya Vijnana. So altogether we can get 63. These 63 are also included in Sukha Vedana. Then Dukkha, classification of Dukkha, we combine 2 Domanassa Vedana and Dukkha Sagata Kaya Vijnana. There are 3. Then Upekha, 55. Nothing difference with Upekka. Here only difference is Sukha and Dukkha. For Sukha we have to add Sukha Sagata Kaya Vijnana into Somanassa 62. For Dukkha we have to add 2 Domanassa and we have to combine 2 Domanassa and Dukkha Sagata Kaya Vijnana. This is the only difference. It's not difficult. Let's move into the next section. So we are going to learn roots. In Pali, Hetu. We have already learned roots in the very beginning. There are 6 roots: Lobha, Dosa, Moha, Alobha, Adosa, and Amoha. Lobha, greed; Dosa, hatred; Moha, delusion; Alobha, non-greed; Adosa, non-hatred; Amoha, non-delusion. In the first few lessons, we have learned about roots in detail. So if you need more information, you can go through previous lessons. Today we are going to classify chittas with regards to roots by analysis of roots. How many chittas without roots? There are 18. We already learned Ahetuka chitta. Ahetuka chittas do not have roots. Therefore, we call them Ahetuka. Then Ekahetuka. Ekahetuka means chittas that have only one root. So we have learned in Lobha Mula Chitta, there are how many roots in Lobha Mula Chitta? Lobha means they have Lobha root. And all the Akusala Chittas, we have learned all the Akusala Chittas, they have Moha root. Moha is Sabba Akusala Sadharana, common for all the Akusala, all unwholesome consciousness. Therefore, in Lobha Mula Chitta, we can find Lobha and Moha. In Dosa Mula Chitta, we can find Dosa root and moha root, delusion and anger. When we come to the moha mula citta, they have only one root, that's moha, delusion. So ekahetuka cittas, how many? There are 2 ekahetuka cittas. They are Uddhacca Saṅgaha and Vicikicca Saṅgaha citta, 2 moha mula cittas. Next one, Dvihetuka. Dvihetuka means the cittas that associate only 2 roots. Here we have to pay attention, either wholesome or unwholesome. Maybe a beautiful consciousness. So we are going to find out in Lobhamula Citta, that's Akusala, therefore they have Moha. Because of Lobha, they have Lobhamula. So 8 Lobhamula Cittas can be included in Dvihetuka group. Dosamula Citta, they have Dosa and they have Moha. 2 Dosamula Cittas. In Jnana Vipayutta Cittas, now you have to pay attention for the classification of the mental factors. Among the mental factors, beautiful mental factors, please pay attention for those mental factors. We classify it into 4 groups. Sobana Sadharana, 3 Virati, 2 Appamanya, and 1 Panya, wisdom. There are 19 beautiful mental factors common for all the beautiful cittas. Among 19, let's try to find first few. Saddha, Sati, Hiri, Ottappa, Alobha, Adosa, Tatramajjapata, then the remaining 12. Here we can find Alobha and Adosa. Therefore, Alobha and Adosa are common for all the beautiful cittas. Sobana, Rupavachara, Arupavachara, Lokama Sobana, Rupavachara, Arupavachara, Lokuttara. But we can find wisdom, Panya in only Jnana Sampayutta Cittas. Therefore, we can't find Panya or wisdom in Jnana Vipayutta Cittas. If so, how many Jnana Vipayutta Cittas in Kama Sobana? 4 Kusala. 4 Jnana Vipayutta in Kusala, 4 Jnana Vipayutta in Vipaka, 4 Jnana Vipayutta in Kiriya. Altogether 12. So, how many Dvihetuka Cittas altogether? Lobha 8, Lobhamula 8, Dosamula 2, Jnana Vipayutta 12, altogether 22. Then Tihetuka Cittas. Tihetuka means with wisdom. Nothing to say about Rupavachara, Arupavachara and Lokuttara. They always associate wisdom. In Kamasobhana, we take only Jnana Sampayutta Cittas. How many Jnana Sampayutta? Jnana Sampayutta Kusala 4, Jnana Sampayutta Vipaka 4, Jnana Sampayutta Kiriya 4. So there are 12 Jnana Sampayutta Kamasobhana. Rupavachara 12, Arupavachara 15, Lokuttara 8. Altogether 47 Tihetuka Cittas. This is also not so far from us because we have already classified roots. Next section is new for us, the classification of function, picture. There are 14 functions summarized based on the functions. In Pali, we call Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Avajjana, Dassana, Savana, Gayana, Sayana, Pusana, Sampatichana, Santhirana, Ottapana, Javana, Tadaramana, Chuti. In Pali, those are the 15 functions. Therefore, this is important lesson, one of the important lessons in this chapter. Here we are going to find out the chittas with regards to the relevant functions. Patisandhi means rebirth consciousness. Grammatically, when we separate the words, pati means again, and in English we use the re suffix, prefix. Sandhi means connect or link. Therefore, we say rebirth linking consciousness or rebirth consciousness. How many rebirth consciousness? Rebirth linking consciousness? There are 19. Rebirth linking consciousness arise at the moment of conception. At the moment of rebirth, as a being, there arises one type of consciousness, one type of vipaka. What are them? Sahetuka, Kamavachara vipaka 8. Can you remember Kama vipaka? Somanasa Sahagata, Jnana Sampayutta, Asaṅkārika vipaka. Somanasa Sahagata, Jnana Sampayutta, Sasaṅkārika. Somanasa Sahagata, Jnana Vipayutta, Asaṅkārika, Sasaṅkārika. Upekka Sahagata, Jnana Sampayutta, Asaṅkārika, Sasaṅkārika. Upekka Sahagata, Jnana Vipayutta, Asaṅkārika, Sasaṅkārika. Somanasa for, Upekka for, Jnana Sampayutta for, Jnana Vipayutta for, Sasaṅkārika for, Asaṅkārika for. So I think you can remember. So there are 8 Kama vipaka, Sahetuka Kamavachara vipaka chittas. Then 5 Rupavachara vipaka chittas. Then 4 Arupavachara vipaka chittas. What are the Rupavachara vipaka? Vitakka Vichara Piti Sukha Ekaggata Sahita Patamajjhana vipaka. There are 5 resultant chittas with regards to material consciousness, fine material consciousness. First jhana vipaka, second jhana vipaka, third jhana vipaka, fourth jhana vipaka, fifth jhana vipaka. So there are then 4 arupavachara vipaka, immaterial resultant consciousness. Akasananchayatana vipaka, Viññānañcāyatana, Akincaññāyatana, and Neva-saññā, Anasaññāyatana. In Ahetuka, there are 2 Ahetuka consciousness that function, rebirth function. That's Tupekha Santirana. How many Santirana? Santirana altogether 3. Somanasa 1 and Upekha 3. Sorry, Upekha 2. Somanasa 1, Upekha 2. Among these Upekha, one is Kusala Vipaka, one is Akusala Vipaka. Ahetuka Kusala Vipaka Upekha Santirana and Akusala Vipaka Upekha Santirana. We classify these chittas with regards to the individuals later on, but here just pay attention. So regarding among the Ahetuka Vipaka, those who are reborn in hell, they have Akusala Vipaka Upekka Santirana as their rebirth consciousness. Those who are reborn as born blind And those disabled person, deaf one, they have Kusala Vipaka, Upekha Santirana as rebirth consciousness. Those who reborn in Arupavachara realm, they have Arupavachara Vipakas with regards to their plane or realms. Those who reborn in Rupavachara realms, they have rebirth, they have Rupavachara resultant consciousness as their rebirth consciousness. Those who reborn in human realm and divine realms, they have Sahetuka Kamavachara Vipaka, Mahavipaka. So this is in brief, or later on we will learn in detail. This is just to get an approach about Patisandhi Chittas. Okay. Next one, Bhavanga Chitta. Grammatical meaning of Bhavanga means Bhava Anga. Anga means part. Bhava is our life. We call the Chitta that supports to continue our life. Therefore, the name is given as life continuum consciousness. Bhavanga Chitta. The same Chitta, when after rising Patisandhi Chitta rise once. After that, when that same Chitta rise, we call it as Bhavanga before the final Chitta, the last Chitta of our life. Bhavanga consciousness goes on our lives when there is no active consciousness arising. Active consciousness means no greed, no hatred, no delusion, or no seeing, listening, smelling, tasting, or doing other wholesome activities, or in the jhana level, or attainment of the magga phala. Those are we call active consciousness. Almost when we are in sleep, actually in deep sleep, without dream, we call dreamless sleep, almost Bhavanga Chittas arise as a continuous flow. Rising of Bhavanga Chitta is more evident when we are in a deep sleep or dreamless sleep. Chuti Chitta means death. Chuti Chitta, death consciousness. Same type of Chitta. When this Chitta arises in our life, at the first time we call it as Patisandhi. When it arises as the final Chitta, the last Chitta, very last Chitta, we call it as Chuti Chitta. When these Chitta, these Vipaka Chitta, the Patisandhi Chitta, arises when there are no active consciousness. At that time we call it supposed to continue our life. Therefore we call it as Bhavanga Chitta. Same Chitta arise in different situations. At the rebirth moment, we call it as rebirth consciousness. At the death moment, we call it as death consciousness. Remaining situations, remaining occasions, we call it as Bhavanga Chitta. So this is the explanation of Patisandhi, Bhavanga and Chuti. Then Avajjana Chitta. Avajjana means adverting consciousness. I have explained the simile of the mango. Now it's not time to explain that simile again. I explained when I was teaching the lesson of ahetuka chittas. Can you remember that story? Person is sleeping under the mango tree. Then one mango fruit fell down. Then he look at and open his eyes and turn his body and turn his hand, stretch his hand and take the umbrella. Take the fruit, mango fruit. After that, he sees it and smells, and he squeezes it whether it's ripened or not. Then he cut it, eat well, and after that, there are some mango particles and juices on his lips. He licked the taste and fell into sleep again. This is a story that I have explained in the lesson of ahetuka chittas. So in that according to that simile, avajjana means the turn into the object, like the person turn his body towards the mango or stretch his hand. Didn't accept, but turning his body or turning his hand to get that mango, to receive the mango. Similarly, when some object impinges with our mental stream, our mind, so there is there are two chittas that turn or advert our consciousness towards that object. So we call them as adverting consciousness. How many? There are two. Panchadvara Vajjana for 5 types of objects. Visible object, the present visible object. When you learn later in detail, when we learn about the mental thought process, present visible object, present sound, present smell, present taste, and present tangible object. Panchadvara Vajjana advert or turn the mental stream into that object for those 5 types of present objects. Next one, Manodvara Vajjana Chitta, advert the mental stream for remaining all the objects, either present or either the remaining past object or future objects, or mundane objects or supramundane objects. So Manodvara Vajjana, the function is adverting consciousness towards that object. The next 5 are it's easy because we have already learned in the ahetuka chittas. Dassana function. Dassana means seeing function. That's seeing consciousness. Hearing function is done by 2 hearing consciousness, 2 sota vijnana. Then smelling function is done by 2 ghana vijnana. 2 smelling consciousness. Then sayana means taste. The function of tasting is done by 2 tasting consciousness. In Pali, 2 jivha vijnana. Function of touching is done by 2 touching consciousness. Body consciousness, 2 kaya vijnana. In Pali we call pusana. Next one, sampatichana. It's also easy. Now you can think about the simile again. In the simile of mango, he receives mango with his hand. So like a receiving. The receiving function is done by 2 receiving consciousness, 2 sampatichana chitta. After that, he check whether mango is ripened or not. to check. So he had to he squeeze again. It's like a investigating consciousness. How many investigating consciousness? There are 3. There are Samtirana Chitta. Same name with the same function actually for those chittas. Almost same and same with the name of the chitta and same with their function. After that, what happened with the simile of mango? He smells to confirm whether it's ripen or not. It's like a confirming or determining consciousness. Manodvara Vajjana. Here you can find same chitta can be function in various functions. So finally we will find out the chittas that have 5 functions, 4, 3, 2, and 1 functions. So therefore, Manodvara Vajjana we found already in another place. Then Javana consciousness. Actually, scholars are reluctant to give translation, to translate this term, because it's very difficult to get a meaning. Therefore, especially Abhidhamma scholars keep this name as Javana. Keep it remain without translation. Therefore, almost we use Javana consciousness. What is the meaning of Javana actually? We call Java means this. In Pali, force or strength. The chittas, those have more and more power and strength than other chittas. It doesn't mean that they have long lifespan, not a lifespan. So each and every chitta has the same lifespan, rising and passing away. Among the chittas, these 55 chittas are more and more strong, we can call. They have double force. They have more strength than other consciousness. Therefore, among the chittas become that give the results, we call karma chittas, are included in these 55. Not all, because kriya chittas cannot give the result. So when we concern the karma chittas, karmas are included in this 55. So let's pay attention for these 55 chittas in detail. It's not difficult to memorize, because when we know when anger arises in our mind, or hatred, greed, craving, they are very strong chittas. 12 akusala chittas are javana chittas. They act as javana. Then hasituppāda. That's only for arahants. They need some energy to make smile. Therefore, it's also javana. Then mahakusala. When we are doing wholesome action, such as offering gift, or observing precepts, doing meditation, preaching Dhamma, we need some strong effort. At that time, which chitta arises? Especially Mahakusala is plays the main role. Mahakusala chittas play main role in these wholesome actions. For arahants, they don't have kusala, they have kirya. When they are doing wholesome actions, when they perform wholesome actions, Mahakirya chittas arise in their mind. Similarly, So nothing to say about Rupavachara and Arupavachara. They are more and more stronger than other chittas. Rupavachara Kusala Chitta. When someone attains Rupavachara Jhanas, either first or second or third, fourth or fifth, then the function is Javana function. Then for Arahants, Rupavachara Kriya Chitta, Kriya 5. For Arupavachara, Arupavachara Kusala 4. And Arupavachara Kriya 4. Then most important and most valuable chittas are Lokuttara Chitta. They can eradicate the defilements completely without remaining. 8 Lokuttara Chittas are also acting in Javana function. You can memorize simply all the Kusala and all the Kriya except Manodvara Vajjana and Panchadvara Vajjana and Kusala. And Lokuttara, also Kusala also included in Lokuttara, and just you can say also at Lokuttara. All the Kusala, all the Kriya except Panchadvara Vajjana and Manodvara Vajjana, then Magga 4, Phala 4. This is a short way to memorize Javana Chitta. How many altogether we can get? Total 55 chittas. There are 55 Javana chittas. Among the chittas, this is a little bit difficult for us to memorize. Remaining functions are not difficult. Therefore, please pay attention for this Javana function. This is very, very important when we are learning Chitta Viti, thought process. Then next one is Padarammana. Let's separate this word also. Tang Arammana. Tang means that, or Arammana means object. That means the consciousness that takes the same object taken by Javana consciousness. Think about the simile. After eating, Javana is like eating the mango. He can taste it a full extent. Taste the mango taste to the full extent. After that, he leaks the juice or particles that are on the lips. It's like a registration consciousness. So there are 11 registration consciousness. What are them? Registration function is compared to water following the boat. Following the boat. When we are traveling on boat, when we are sailing on boat, we can see the water flow, the flow with the boat behind us. So it's like taking the same object taken by Javana Chitta, but not strong as Javana, but it takes the same object. Therefore we call it as Padarammana, registration function. How many chittas? There are 8 Mahavipaka and 3 Santirana. 3 Santirana we have to separate 2 Pekha and 1 Somanatha, because finally we are going to find the chittas that perform 1 function, 2 functions, 3 functions, 4 functions, and 5 functions. Therefore, please pay attention for these 3 Santirana, separating 2 Pekha and 1 Somanasa. Altogether, how many chittas? Those have registration function 11, Mahavipaka 8, and Santirana 3. Final function is Chuti. We have already discussed Chuti function, that's death consciousness. There are 19 Chittas. Now let's try to classify those Chittas. Before classification, just try to count down by yourself, enumerate by yourself how many Chittas, what are the Chittas, those have the maximum functions. Just think, I don't please think about how many Chittas. I will show the classification of function again. Here you can find Patisandhi. Patisandhi Chittas 19. 8 Mahavipaka, 5 Rupa Vipaka, 4 Arupa Vipaka, and 2 Pekha Santirana. Here you can find 2 Pekha Santirana. In Bhavanga also 2 Pekha Santirana. In Chuti also 2 Pekha Santirana. Then Santirana function also 2 Pekha Santirana. Tadarammana also here. In Tadarammana you can find also 2 Pekha Santirana and so on and so on. Who has the maximum number? 5 functions are Upekha Santirana. Upekha Santirana Chittas have 5 functions. What are them? Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti. Then with name it's easy, Santirana function and also Tadarammana. Let's revise again. Upekha Santirana Chittas have 5 functions. Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti, Santirana and Tadarammana. Then Mahavipaka. Please revise again. Function list. Patisandhi. Among these 19, we have 8 Mahavipaka. When Chitta arise as Patisandhi, they also have Bhavanga and Chuti. Nothing to say about them. Then going to Tadarammana. Also 8 Mahavipaka Chittas perform registration function. 8 Mahavipaka. If so, how many? 8 Mahavipaka Chittas? 4 functions. What are them? Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti, and Tadarammana. I will repeat again. 8 Mahavipaka Chittas have 4 functions. Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti, and Tadarammana. Registration. Then let's move into the next group. Chittas, those who have 3 functions. They are Rupavachara Vipaka and Arupavachara Vipaka. Rupavachara Vipaka 5, Arupavachara Vipaka 4. What are the functions? Because those Vipaka Chittas function are Patisandhi. Those who have Patisandhi, nothing to say about Bhavanga and Chuti. Therefore, what are the 3 functions of these Chittas? Patisandhi function, Bhavanga function, and Chuti. Rebirth, life continuum, and death. So there are 9 Chittas, those who have 3 functions. They are Rupavachara Vipaka 5 and Arupavachara Vipaka 4. Then the Chittas, those who have 2 functions. Okay, let's pay attention to our list again. Let's go one by one. Here are Vajjana function, adverting function. We can find 2 Chittas, Panchadhara Vajjana and Manodhara Vajjana. Here, just pay attention for Manodhara Vajjana. Then let's find, can we see Manodhara Vajjana again? Yes, we can find here in the number 11, Vottabhana. The determine function. is done by also Manodvara Vajjana Chitta. If so, Manodvara Vajjana Chitta performs two functions, Avajjana and Vattabhana, adverting and determining function. What is the next one? This is a little bit tricky. Please pay attention for Santirana. Santirana. There are three Santirana. Now we have already discussed two Pekka Santirana. So what is the remaining one? Somanasa Santirana. So Somanasa Santirana perform Santirana function. Then pay attention for Tadarammana. Here Tadarammana Chittas how many? Tadarammana Chittas 11, 2 Pekka and 1 Somanasa. If so, Somanasa Santirana perform also registration function. If so, Somanasa Santirana Chitta has two functions. What are them? Santirana with their name and next one, registration function. How many Chittas perform two functions? Manodvara Vajjana and Somanasa Santirana. Not the same function, Manodvara Vajjana as Avajjana and Vattabhana, adverting and determining. Somanasa Santirana as Santirana function and Tadarammana function. Then the Chittas, those who have one function. Nothing to say about Javana Chittas. We have already enumerated 55 Javana Chittas. So 55 Javana Chittas have only Javana function. Then what about Dipancha Vijnana? Through Chakku Vijnana, to Sota Vijnana, to Gahana Vijnana. So to Chakku Vijnana have only seeing function. To Sota Vijnana, Chittas have only hearing function. To Gahana Vijnanas have only smelling function. To Jivha Vijnana, Chittas have only tasting function. To Kaya Vijnana Chittas have only touching function. Then to Sampatikkana Chitta. To Sampatikkana Chittas have only receiving function. Okay, let's move into the previous one also. Now, what are remaining? We have already discussed Patisandhi, Bhavanga. Here Avajjana, one is remaining. What is the remaining one? Panchadvara Vajjana. Panchadvara Vajjana Chitta has only one function. That's only adverting function. Now, we have already discussed the Chittas, those who have only one function. What are they? 55 Javana Chittas, Dipancha Vijnana 10, that means Chakku Vijnana 2, Sota Vijnana 2, Gahana Vijnana 2, Jiva Vijnana 2, Kaya Vijnana 2. Dipancha Vijnana 10, then one Panchadvara Vajjana and Sampatikkana. Sampatikkana Chitta 2. Altogether, how many? There are 68 Chittas that perform only one function. Okay, let's review again. There are two Chittas perform 5 functions. What are them? Upekka Santirana 2. What are the functions? Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti, Santirana and Tadarammana. Then how many Chittas perform 4 functions? There are 8 Chittas. Mahavipaka Chittas perform 4 functions. What are them? Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti and Tadarammana. And how many Chittas perform 3 functions? There are 9 Chittas perform 3 functions. What are them? Rupavachara Vipaka Chitta 5, Arupavachara Vipaka Chitta 4. What are the functions? Patisandhi, Bhavanga and Chuti. There are 2 Chittas perform 2 functions. What are them? Manodvara Vajjana and Somanasa Santirana. Sorry, there is an interruption with our connection. So there are 68 chittas perform only one function. What are them? 55 Javana chittas and Dipancha Viññāna 10, Panchadhara Vajjana 1, 2 Sampatichana chittas. So today we have discussed 3 sections in chapter 3. What are them? We classified the chittas by way of feeling, by way of fruits, and by way of function. Therefore, please try to memorize, especially the function. It's not difficult for the classification of feeling and roots. Please try to memorize the classification of function with regards to 14 functions. It's okay. Please try to find out the functions according to order. For example, let's start with Lobha Chittas. What are the functions for Lobha Chittas? 8 Lobha Mula Chittas, they have Javana function. For Dosa Mula Chittas, they have Javana function. For Moha Mula Chittas, they have Javana function. Then let's move into the Ahetuka. To Chakku Viññāna have function of seeing, Dasana. To Sota Viññāna, function of listening, Savana. To Gahana Viññāna, function of smelling. To Jiva Viññāna, function of tasting. To Kaya Viññāna, function of touching. To Sampatichana, function of receiving. Then Santirana. Separate Santirana chittas into Upekha and Somanasa. Somanasa Santirana, how many functions? Somanasa Santirana, Santirana function and Tadarammana function. Upekha Santirana, how many functions? 5. Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti, Santirana and Tadarammana. Then after Sampatichana Santirana, we are going to Kiriya Chittas, Ahetuka Kiriya. Panchadhara Vajjana, how many functions? It has only one function, Avajjana function, adverting function. Then Manodhara Vajjana, how many functions? 2 functions, adverting, Avajjana and Vottabhana function. Then Hasatuppada. Hasatuppada Chitta has only Javana function. Okay, let's move into the Mahakusala 8. Mahakusala Chittas have only Javana function. Then Mahakiriya Chittas also have only Javana function. Mahavipaka Chittas, they have Patisandhi, rebirth linking function, Bhavanga, life continuum, Chuti, death function, then Tadarammana function. How many functions? 4 functions for Mahavipaka. Then Rupavachara Kusala, they have only Javana function. Rupavachara Kiriya have only Javana function. Rupavachara Vipaka Chittas have 3 functions, Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti. Then let's move into the Arupavachara. Arupavachara Kusala Chittas have only Javana function. Arupavachara Kiriya Chittas have only Javana function. Then Arupavachara Vipaka Chittas have 3 functions, Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti. The final section, Lokuttara Chittas. What is the function of Lokuttara Chittas? Its function is Javana. Therefore, try to find out these functions in order, according to order, from beginning to end to beginning. So when you practice again and again, it will be easy for you. This is not so difficult. This is only that we have to memorize only 14 functions, and we have to classify these functions into 5 groups with 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If so, you can continue the next lesson about the remaining 3 sections. I think we can't finish within 1 lesson. So I would like to take 1 class for only to explain on the objects because it's very, very important. If so, let's discuss about the classification of objects in the next lesson. So, shall we share the merits to deities and all the beings by reciting stanza. Ittavata cammehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe devang anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cammehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe bhutang anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cammehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe sattang anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānāga mahiddhika puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkhantu sambuddha sāsanam. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānāga mahiddhika puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkhantu sambuddha desanam. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānāga mahiddhika puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkhantu sambuddha sāvake ciran rakkhantu maṃ paraṃ. Buddha sāsanam ciram tiṭṭhatu, Buddha sāsanam ciram tiṭṭhatu, Buddha sāsanam ciram tiṭṭhatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.